Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're so excited to be working with Indiana and kicking things off. I am Lana Kraus. I am the community lead for our region, which includes Indiana, Michigan, and Ohio. I'm actually from Anderson, Indiana. I went to college at Indiana University in Bloomington, lived in Indianapolis for a while until I moved out here to the East Coast. But my family's still back in Indiana. My friends are there, my college friends, and so many amazing volunteers that I work with. My heart is in Indiana, and I'm just so excited to be able to support the state and push forward your work with you to help push forward your sustainability goals. Thank you so much for joining us today. We know everyone is so busy, but we're so excited that you can join us just for a little while this morning to connect with us and talk about where USGBC is going forward. We're excited to have our conversation with you and just really look forward to chatting with you and everything. I know we're in a very different world right now. This pandemic and the virus has affected everyone in some capacity, including family and friends. It's deeply impacted my family, and I just really hope that everyone is safe out there and that we're all taking care of each other and doing what we can to just move forward. I'm locked in my basement right now, so my 3- and 5-year-old coworkers won't come running in at some point. I'm sure a lot of you guys are dealing with similar situations, so thanks again just for taking the time and joining us. I'd like to thank our sponsor company, ARC, for supporting our town hall events all week long. USGBC is committed to a sustainable, prosperous future through LEAD, the LEAD program, the leading program for green buildings and communities worldwide. Our second generation is all about 4 pillars: sustainability, health and wellness, resilience, and equity. When we think about USGBC and LEAD, we think about each of these topics and how they can be leveraged to raise the living standard for all. The Living Standard campaign is all about helping people and companies tell their sustainability stories. You'll notice our programs, events, articles, and all of our work locally will reflect these 4 pillars and talk about LEAD v4.1, membership, and LEAD performance. So over the last 10 years, USGBC has been tracking and celebrating the top 10 states with the most gross square footage of LEED certified space added in each state over the previous year. Here's a little bit deeper dive look into those 10 states. So Indiana, where are we? I would love to see us join this list of leaders next year. We are well represented in our region with Illinois. They have ranked in the top 10 every year since we have put out this list, but I'd love to see Indiana join this list of leaders next year. So what we're doing here is part of the town halls where last year in October, Mahesh and I traveled around our region to meet with the community in person. This year we are in a virtual space, but again, we're so glad that we can connect through the computers in a virtual world so that we can still continue to move our mission and promote sustainability. On Monday, we were in Chicago, and then yesterday we were with Michigan, today we're with Indiana, and tomorrow we're with Ohio. As you can see on here, we are moving around the whole country. We already had the Pacific dates, but we have several more upcoming. So if you have any locations or any colleagues in these other states that you would like to participate, please have them join us. As part of the town hall, not only do we have the executive meetings in the morning, but then we have later on this afternoon, we're going to have a LEAD v4.1 operations and maintenance focused workshop. It's from 12:30 to 4:30 today in a virtual space through WebEx. If you're interested in attending or have any colleagues that you think would like to attend, please do have them sign up. It's not too late. It is going to offer 3 continuing education credits for LEAD specific O&M as well through GBCI, as well as 3 AIA credits. Now, we were set to launch our local regional conference here in June, but because of the pandemic, we have decided to move that conference and postpone it until 2021. However, what this does is offer up an opportunity for us to set up a road to the resilient heartland. And so what we're going to do is a monthly webinar series for our region, and we're going to take the topics that we're going to be covered during the conference and be able to share and celebrate those throughout the year. So please look for details and join us for those monthly webinars. It'll be an opportunity to connect with the region and get education. Here's a list of those topics. And we're closely working with our conference committee to bring you the content on these. Our first one is going to be on May 20th, and it's going to be about LEAD Zero. You can see all these events plus all the other events that our communities do by going to usgbc.org/events. This is where we post all of our calendar, and you can see things well into the future, but please go back often because we do add new activities all the time. I would like to give a shout out to some of our amazing volunteers in Indiana. We couldn't do the work we do without all of these dedicated individuals. This is a quick snapshot of our Market Leadership Advisory Board, and these are our statewide leaders. We also have local branches in South Bend, Cherville, and Indianapolis, and we have local leaders there that are doing awesome work as well to help us move things forward. They dedicate their time and energy to supporting sustainability in our state, and they help provide our education and engagement opportunities through our local communities. If you're ever interested in getting involved with any of that, please do let us know. I'd also like to take a moment just to thank our Indiana Community Annual sponsors, IPL, Guidon, Millie's Engineering Group, Duke Energy, Sherwin-Williams, IDEO, and Armstrong. Without their support, we wouldn't be able to continue to do the work we're doing. So thank you so much to our sponsors. We very much value and appreciate you. In addition to the regional webinars, we're also going to be holding community webinars monthly. These will be an opportunity to see a little bit more or receive a little more education focused specifically on the Indiana area. So we'll do some virtual tours of really interesting projects around the state. We'll have engagement opportunities, lead specific education, and then we'll also highlight community projects and different opportunities to get involved as well. We're also going to have some Women in Green events, and we just finished up an exam prep for the Lead Green Associate, and we're looking at hosting another one of those, and also potentially a Building Design and Construction, the BDNC exam prep as well. So if you're interested, please do let us know. Just to give a quick highlight here, we have a lot of volunteers and events that we're doing throughout the year, and really the primary reason we're doing all of that is to support our 90+ members companies in the state, as well as our 1,800+ lead credential holders. So if you are interested in getting education and having engagement, please do get involved. We have over 790 certified projects in the US. Right here are just 3 images of projects that received our Outstanding Leadership Awards for 2019. You'll see the Veterinary Clinic up in Highland, Indiana. On the left is Guidon headquarters in Indianapolis, Indiana. And then over on the right is the David Letterman Media and Communication Building at Ball State University. So these are 3 projects we wanted to celebrate. But as you can see, we have a lot of projects throughout the state, and we're looking forward to adding a lot more. So what you can do now, you can get involved by becoming a member of our local community. We would love to see that. Or if your organization is interested in becoming a national member of USGBC, we would absolutely appreciate your support there. You can sign up for our newsletter and our social media streams. You can view any of our events that are upcoming and participate in those. You can also get involved in a committee. We have a lot of different committees doing some really great things throughout the year, and we would love to have additional support. I do want to say Happy Earth Day. Today actually fell right on Earth Day, which is pretty fun. So I hope that you are joining. We're going to be posting some things on social media today, some different ways to get involved and get engaged. So please do follow that. I hope if anything you learned today, I hope you know that we are here to support you. We want to support your sustainability efforts and your goals. I am your local contact that is available to you, so please do reach out if you need anything at all. We are recording the session today, so we will be sending it out probably early next week, so you'll be able to share with your colleagues and anyone else that might be interested in participating. But again, just thank you so much for joining us and taking a small part of your day. I hope you all stay safe, and I look forward to engaging with you in the future. Now, I would like to take a moment to introduce Dave Whittick, who is the COO of ARC, our sponsor for the series this week. So, hi, Dave.
Good morning. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with everybody today. I want to talk a little bit about what ARC has been up to and how maybe it fits into what you do on a day-to-day basis. But before I do that, I want to take the opportunity to thank all of the people who are already using ARC. We already have 31 projects in Indiana representing more than 4,000 occupants. So thank you to you. ARC is a technology platform which is focused on the performance of your project. I'm sure that when you did your retrofit or your build out, you had the best designer and looked at the most efficient products. Everything was going to be super earth friendly, and then when it came time to build it out, you had the best builder and everything was followed exactly to spec. But a funny thing happened after that. The people actually moved into the space. So Are you seeing the same efficiencies that you expected when it was designed? Is it running the same way that it was designed? And maybe there's new technology out there that can help to improve your project. Um, well, ARC is working with more than 9,500 projects around the globe in actually 90 countries. It's representing 6.2 million occupants and more than 3.5 billion square feet of space. We're helping these projects to track, measure, benchmark, and report their data on energy, water, waste, transportation, and human experience, along with carbon emissions. By tracking and reacting to your project's performance in ARC, you can make adjustments to energy and water use, which will save you money through reduced operating costs. Shown here is USGBC's annual energy consumption. And through ARC, we're now measuring this near real time, allowing our facilities team to react quickly to any changes in use patterns. The bottom line here on the chart is 2011. That's our baseline year, and that represents nearly 1 million kilowatt hours of use. In the top line is 2019 at about 425,000 kilowatt hours. So we've been able to shave off nearly 600,000 kilowatt hours on an annual basis, and that represents about $80,000. And that's an annual savings, not a one-time savings. We've set up ARC to meet you where you are. We think it's important for us to provide an entry point for every project to get started, and now we have a suite of offerings that allow you to do that. We recently launched ARC for All. That means anyone, anywhere can use ARC at no cost. All you have to do is enter your data into the platform and you'll see your performance score. It's that easy. So if you have LEED and non-LEED buildings in your portfolio, you can bring them all into ARC to measure and manage in one place. That means your data management and your reporting requirements become centralized and easier to track. We also recognize that not everybody can get LEED certified right off the bat. Especially difficult is with existing buildings. We want to help those projects get started on their sustainability journey and on their incremental path towards LEED certification. So for that, we've created category level performance certificates. If you're interested in your energy rating, then just enter that data and we'll give you an energy performance certificate and an energy performance score. You can complete each category, energy, water, waste, transportation, and human experience, one at a time. And if you achieve all 5, you'll be ready for LEED certification. A great example of that is in Brazil. We're using more than 350 schools are using our performance certificates. They're on a path towards LEED Zero for energy, but they're using our performance certificates to share with their stakeholders where they are today. And of course, if your ultimate goal is LEED certification, you can use ARC to achieve both LEED certification and recertification through your performance data. To assist with better understanding ARC and the importance of performance measurement in general, we're creating Performance Pro trainings. There'll be an introductory course with multiple in-depth classes, along with segment-specific training coming at a later date. All of these will be able to be taken on demand and will earn you GBCI credits. We'll soon be starting monthly user briefings in May to provide you with additional support. And coming soon will be a new product to ARC. It'll include a set of tools, features, and reports that allow advanced users to gain additional insight into their projects. Some added abilities will include modeling changes to your score based on changes on your performance, analysis at a portfolio level rather than just at the project level, as well as detailed reports which can be customized and exported for your use. Now, we believe that performance is the future of green buildings, and the ARC Performance Platform was created to help people design, build, and operate buildings and spaces to help both people and the environment. We'll be holding webinars on May 6th and May 7th, so please plan to join us at one of those to learn more. But please get started with ARC today. With that, I'd like to introduce the USGBC and GBCI CEO and President, Mahesh Ramanujam.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Lana. Thank you, Dave. I do miss being in that big room that I presented last year along with Lana in Indiana. So hopefully we'll all be in the same room soon, practicing social distancing. So first and foremost, I hope that you and your families are all safe and healthy. At times like these, I am tempted to say how precious human life is and how fragile our world can be. But the truth is, we have never seen anything like what we are experiencing today. Our strength and humanity have been tested throughout our history, but what is unfolding around us will undoubtedly reveal new vulnerabilities and challenge our adaptability in unthinkable ways. So here at USGBC, and for those of us in the green building community, we spend the better part of our days talking about the need for our society to be more resilient, healthy, and equitable. And now, in the midst of COVID-19, we have the opportunity to help each other by sharing our best practices and our resilient behaviors with communities all over the world. The global foundation for sustainability we have set in place is indestructible, and even in the midst of an unprecedented public health crisis. And I have no doubt that what all of us have built over the last generation of USGBC will endure. Our work and our mission have not stopped. In fact, they are more important now than ever before. We have the opportunity to gather under the common banner of humanity and champion a better quality of life for millions of people around the world. I find comfort in knowing that we will emerge a stronger community in the months and weeks ahead. And I'm so grateful to be a part of this community and that you have all taken the time to join us today to discuss how we can move forward together. On behalf of everyone at USGBC, I would also like to take this time to thank our healthcare and medical workers, emergency responders, grocers, and all other essential workers who are working day in and day out to protect their communities and us. I'm extremely grateful. So without further ado, I'm excited to share some updates around LEAD and USGBC strategy as we enter our next generation as an organization. When USGBC was founded in 1993, we started with this mission to transform the places where we live, learn, work, and play within a generation. Back then, there was no defined green building community, no way to know if a building was truly green, and no agreed upon guidelines to help those who wanted to build it that way. So we created LEAD. And as you know, the rest is history. Now we are in our second generation, one that focuses just on new construction and efficiency, but on the continuous improvement and performance of our spaces. With this ending comes a new beginning, and we are thrilled to take on the future together. At USGBC, we believe the greatest investment we can make is in each other. That's why we are an exclusive and an inclusive, diverse family of green builders from across the globe. We are that way. We are a community of real estate leaders, developers, contractors, architects, engineers, educators, innovators, government officials, and companies working to build healthy, efficient, and equitable communities for all. Especially in times like these, I am so honored to be a part of this community of leaders. So thank you for everything you have done. Your work has fueled us over this first generation. And I'm proud of what we have been able to accomplish together. I'm excited and optimistic for what we will build next. I want to take a moment to recognize our members. Today, we are going to be promoting, today or a little bit later in the day or maybe tomorrow morning, we are working very hard on this, that our members have done a phenomenal job in the past 4 to 5 weeks since the shutdown happened in the United States and around the world in a larger way to really provide direct help to their communities. Those stories are being compiled right now, and their strategies are being also being defined so that we can showcase the success story of our members. Thousands and thousands of USGBC members around the world are taking action to help their local communities, and we are very proud of them, and we are really grateful. that they're leading from the front, even during this pandemic crisis. So stay tuned for that update from Lana and the team a little later in the day, and we are excited to share those stories. And we want to say one more time, thank you. Thank you for all you do. And here in Indiana, there are 84 member organizations like Ratio, which has been a USGBC member since 2002 and one of USGBC Indiana's original members. An interdisciplinary design practice. Ratio offers services in architecture, historic preservation, interior design, landscape architecture, urban design and planning, and graphic design. They believe in defining spaces to create places with the goal of enhancing community. I love that. According to Sarah Wood and Anna Wagner of Ratio, quote, current events have emphasized the importance of crafting careful solutions to the world's challenges and the betterment of the human experience. The way in which we design the built environment has a direct impact on the health and well-being of those that live, work, and play in those spaces. We join USGBC in building a healthy, efficient, and equitable future. Close quote. We at USGBC thank you for your leadership and partnership. I hope you know that membership is vital to our work. Members fund everything that we do and everything that I'll be talking about today. Without you, none of this work would be possible. You are investing in the future of green building with us. Together, we are building a sustainable future for all. And the baseline for that work is simple, as you know, is LEED. I want to give you all a quick update on how far we have come over the first generation and where we are headed with LEED in the future. 20 plus years ago, when we created LEED, we created a universally agreed upon holistic system for reducing environmental impact and providing a quality indoor environment, always with the goal of reducing carbon emissions and addressing climate change and risk. And today, green building has grown into a $1 trillion industry, and LEED has become the most widely used green building program in the world. It is a full-scale global movement. You know, I present these stats almost every day, but I'm always energized to see it again. Let's take a look. 102,000 registered and certified LEED commercial projects. 2 million plus registered and certified residential units. Projects in 178 countries and territories, and 205,000 plus LEED AP professionals developing, contributing, and implementing the LEED rating system across the world. Now, why these numbers are important? If you recall the numbers that I presented in October 2019, and today when we reconcile this number, we are proving on a daily basis that we are converting awareness into adoption. That's the best part of our work. And I'm excited about all the LEED projects that are making progress every day. So think about those numbers. Each of you has contributed to that legacy. You have helped improve your community through each project, each building, and each credential. And you have helped ensure that LEED is not just a de facto leadership standard, but also a living standard with one simple message. Better buildings equal better lives. Because of the work you are doing, people know that if they are in a LEED certified building, they are using less energy, less water, avoiding waste, saving on maintenance costs, improving indoor air quality, offering comfort to their occupants, and creating less environmental burden on their community. And most importantly, they know that they are in a building that enhances health and wellness. More important than ever before today. But while most people are aware of the environmental and monetary benefits of green building, many still have not made the connection between these benefits and their own health and wellness. They don't understand that these buildings have a direct impact on their quality of life. Changing that perception is one of our main focuses in this new generation. After all, green building is all about people. And when we have better buildings, we live better lives. It's as simple as that. So here in Indiana, you're contributing towards this incredible numbers I just mentioned. You have hit 1,346 registered and certified LEED projects. totaling 90.5 million total square feet of space. And there are 1,797 lead professionals directing this work across the state. I would like to take this moment to highlight some of the great work taking place across the state of Indiana, like the LEED Gold NDPL Eagle Branch Library, which just recently achieved LEED V4 certification in January of this year. One goal of the Indianapolis Public Library's strategic plan is to maximize access to library facilities and services. As part of this effort, the library constructed the new Eagle Branch as a larger facility that provides improved access to services, resources, and programs for the internationally diverse community of the West 38th Street Lafayette Road redevelopment area. Quote, from the initial selection of the design team, NDPL's commitment to energy and resource conservation was clear, said Jackie Knights, library CEO. And she went on to say, our board of trustees was committed to the LEED process so that the library could serve as an example of an environmentally aware organization to the community, as well to minimize ongoing operating expenses. And we are very proud of the LEED V4 Gold certification and invite everyone to see how beneficial these measures are to their library in aesthetics and efficiency. We are excited about this work and we're excited about this code. This is exactly what we should be doing with every project around the world. So we love it. Now, last year I had the opportunity to visit Gidon. So Gidon's new LEED V4 BDNC Platinum Certified office, which achieved certification in October of last year. I was there to give that plaque presentation. A sustainable architecture and engineering firm, Gidon's headquarters is the first LEED version 4 Platinum project in the state. Congratulations again. The 22,000 square foot building was constructed for a total budget of $2.6 million. Gidon's achievement of LEED Platinum is even more impressive considering the building's conservative budget. Additional hard costs to the $2.6 million project needed to achieve LEED Platinum certification was around $8,880, including an EV charging station, enhanced commissioning, and renewable energy credits. Gidon benefited from a committed owner and a talented team that set project goals early and followed through at every step of the way. Strategies used in the various aspects of design and construction, including achieving very low energy use intensity through an airtight and well-insulated envelope and a photovoltaic system made up of 92 panels that provide 32 kilowatt of power and 40% of the building's projected energy use. That's a story we want to tell all around the world. If the first generation of LEED was about connecting the dots between awareness and adoption, about educating people on the impact of this work, then the second generation must be about accelerating adoption. And doing so through new metrics, new credits, new incentives, new goals, and new ways of implementing LEED at a time when the world needs it the most. In our latest version of LEED, LEED version 4.1, we have not only raised our energy reference standard, but also added a carbon metric to the rating systems for new and existing buildings. This way, we can directly measure the impact buildings are having on the climate, as dictated by efficiency, on-site generation and storage, and the grid, which it is a part of. We also made improvements to the renewable energy credit. So buildings are incentivized to invest in the kind of clean energy technology that lowers emission even further. And in LEED version 4.1, we are asking project teams to understand the embodied carbon in their material selection. This way, they can use whole building life cycle assessment and tools like environmental product disclosures to weigh options for building design and material selections with lower carbon impact. In fact, the work that we have done with the material credits in LEED version 4.1 is my favorite. What we have done is we have significantly simplified it. And it is evident through data. 7,100 credits have been substituted by 2,295 projects around the world. Now you may be wondering, where did this 2,295 projects come? No, LEED version 4.1 doesn't have 2,295 projects yet, but LEED version 4 has. And all the LEED version 4 projects are pulling credits from LEED version 4.1 and saying, oh, this is very easy way to do it. Let's go ahead and adopt it. because we allowed that option along with LEED version 4.1. The concept of credit substitution. Doesn't matter which system you're using, you can go upwards and pull the things that are easier for you. This means more projects are including sustainable and healthy materials to positively impact the health and wellness of their occupants. Of course, this is how we prove green buildings are all good people. Additionally, let me talk about the construction and demolition waste management credit, which rewards teams for reducing amount of construction they are doing and the amount of demolition materials they are going through. According to the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, 10 to 15% of materials are wasted during the construction process. So this is a real opportunity to reduce embodied carbon by recycling and sorting these material streams. Adding carbon as a metric to everything we do sets the foundation upon which all new and existing buildings and eventually communities and cities can assess their current carbon footprint and begin mitigation. Now, Dave just mentioned about ARC. We are excited about the vision of ARC because, you know, ARC is our platform. It's our performance platform. It has helped LEED go to the next level. So we have fully integrated ARC into LEED version 4.1, making LEED the first green building performance standard in the world. I love the fact we can say that LEED version 4.1 powered by ARC. That's our vision. That has been our vision and work for 7 years. So I'm very excited when I see these types of things come together. And when they come together and when they become the first, that's even more special. Because through this integration, we are simply helping project teams to ensure that design, construction, and operational strategies are driving the expected performance outcomes of the project. We can't wait for Gidon and other projects, Indie Library, all of them to adopt ARC and prove that their LEED Platinum certification is working and they're pushing the envelope as they would do normally to go to the next level. So that'll be exciting to look at this as an evolution of those LEED platforms to the ARC vision. Now, the next favorite topic that is powered again by ARC is recertification. Very simple. In the first generation, we gave every projects that are participating in LEED a certification, a certified silver, gold, platinum status. But then now we want projects to prove that they're maintaining those certifications. So we want all LEED projects to continue to demonstrate leadership long after they're constructed and occupied. Because leadership is not just about achieving a milestone, but actually living it. And recertification allows you to do that. And your recertification becomes a lot more easier with this new guidance that we have published that's powered again by the ARC platform, so that any LEED project, old or new, can recertify using 12 months of performance data. This is the best story I'm going to share today. 490 projects have already recertified since the launch of this new guidance in 2018. And we expect this number to just keep growing right after this pandemic is over. I'm very hopeful of that. And this is where the context to be brought in. I earlier mentioned 102,000 projects participating in LEED registered and certified. Our goal is to get all those projects into the recertification path so that this is not a one-time leadership, but this is an ongoing leadership by our community to prove that they are benchmarking themselves constantly for continuous improvement and eventually delivering their expected performance. So 490 projects have been recertified without mandatory guidance. We're not mandated that yet. Only in LEED version 4.1, it's mandatory. So I'm excited that there are so many leaders who are stepping up and really figuring out how to prove their performance. Yes, performance is the future of green buildings. And as we are talking about performance, as we are talking about mitigation, as we are talking about reduction, let's talk about LEED Zero. If we are going to move the needle to tackle climate change, the most existential threat of our lifetime, I should say now, after the COVID pandemic, we only have one choice. To set our sights at zero, we have to zero things out. We believe net zero is a powerful target that will move the entire industry forward to a regenerative future. This is where our leaders are going. While they are certifying 490 projects to recertification, 17 more projects have gone above and beyond to prove that they can zero things out. Yes, net zero carbon emissions, but also net zero energy use, net zero water use, and net zero waste. Now, normally I would ask a bunch of questions if I was in the room and we'll have a little bit of fun, but I'm going to do my best to mimic this in this particular setup. And you'll be surprised. The first Lead Zero project, Lead Zero Energy project, did not come from United States, did not come from Europe, did not come from China, did not come from India. It came from Brazil. The second Lead Zero Energy project did not come from California, did not come from New York. I should say, did not come from Indiana. It came from Little Rock, Arkansas. And the third Lead Zero project is my favorite. The Discovery Elementary School in Arlington County, Virginia, right close to our headquarters, and of course, part of my state where I live. And I'll let you read this slide for a moment. What caught my attention is $117,000 in annual savings to fund 2 teachers' salaries, period. That's all we want to talk about. But they didn't stop there. That school went and delivered a net positive energy balance, and they also are replicating the same concept to 3 more schools that is under construction and evolution. That is the best story of getting to zero. And most importantly, the school serves also as the learning laboratory for all the students by making the data accessible, information available, sharing the best-in-class strategies. And imagine all the children learning this first-hand experience using school as the laboratory. And when they step out of that school ground, they are going to be way too advanced in the things that we want to change in the future. Or they're going to be thinking about it and contributing to it. To me, that's an exciting story that if a school could do it, if the school could zero things out with all the constraints that typically a school has and really deliver a positive story to the future generation as well as to the community, there is no excuse for any project in the world not to be able to realize that milestone. Now, we have delivered 17 Lead Zero certifications, including the Colgate-Palmolive Burlington, Vermont site that has achieved all 4 certifications: net zero energy, net zero water, net zero waste, and net zero carbon. So what we are asking today is that please consider these examples. We have 17 distinct case studies, and there are hundreds of projects and works that are trying to attempt to go to Lead Zero. We are already proving that this solution works. Very simple. Get started. Get started in ARC, start measuring your data, look where you are, and put a plan to zero things out. It shouldn't be that difficult. And why we say that is because you can either attempt to let zero energy first, then go to water, then go to waste, then go to carbon, or you may go all in and say, let's do it all. And this will also challenge your teams to go further and beyond to prove that their strategies are working and they're able to converge to a very simple goal called let zero things out. So let's get started. Now with that, let me build further. While Lead Zero is made for individual buildings, we want to accelerate change on every possible scale. And that means not only addressing isolated projects, but the cities and communities that they form. We need to see the forest through the trees. That's why we created Lead for Cities and Communities, because it's a change on a grander scale. These programs are helping cities develop responsible, sustainable, and specific plans for green energy, water, waste, transportation, and many other factors that contribute to the citizen experience. They encompass sustainability, for sure, but even much more: quality of life, health, prosperity, equity, education, resilience, infrastructure, and energy. They are designed to support continuous progress toward developing better communities and cities, because by now you know this: better communities equal better lives. So more than 100 cities and communities around the world, including Indianapolis, are registering and certifying with us. In total, these places cover more than 53 million people. Now, I want to take a minute to share some key takeaways from this slide. Yes, the font size is small. But my first takeaway is that if you are in a city that is not on this list, please encourage your city to take action, or even better, help them to achieve that certification. The second thing I want to leave you with this is this: how LEAD can be layered to support people, businesses, neighborhoods, and cities. It's not linear, it's organic but integrated. If you take a look at that list, you will notice At the very bottom, on the first-hand side left column, the bottom, you'll see Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. happens to be the first LEED Platinum city in the world. But then if you go to the last but one column, at the very bottom, you'll see the Golden Triangle Business Improvement District, neighborhood within the city. Recently, Golden Triangle achieved LEED Platinum certification and became the first LEED certified business improvement district in the world by taking advantage of our LEED community program. Golden Triangle has made significant efforts to ensure a clean, safe, and vibrant neighborhood for more than 89,000 people. It's a stellar example of how to use every possible inch to improve the quality of life and living standards for every person who visits or calls it home. Now, you may be wondering why I'm talking about Washington, D.C., why I'm talking about Business Improvement District of Golden Triangle in Indianapolis. And this is why. Because USGBC headquarters, which is a LEED Platinum office in a LEED building, is also proudly part of this project. We are part of this Golden Triangle community, and of course, we are part of the Washington, D.C. city. So imagine if every building asks their community and city to get certified. And imagine if we connect all of the data through the ARC platform, and we know exactly the impact of our buildings, communities, and cities are making. And have a context for how people are experiencing that. Imagine that world. That is the future we are creating. So as Dave mentioned, ARC powers LEED. But we also know that there are many existing buildings that may not be ready for LEED. And to help them get started and not be intimidated by the heaviness of LEED sometimes, we have introduced performance certificates that allows every project to get started and make incremental progress on the following categories, 5 categories: energy, water, waste, transportation, and human experience. These projects can eventually get LEED certification if they want to. So imagine this like your college course credit program. You're not going for the full graduation class, but you're going for your targeted courses, and eventually you're going to attempt for graduation. Now, what is exciting to me is when we established the LEED dynamic plaque vision, which you're all familiar with, by making the plaque a living plaque in 2012, when Scott, as our leader, established that vision for what is the future of performance in buildings look like, we introduced this vision in 2012 until 2016. We were kind of hovering between 800 to 900 projects. Projects were kind of being very cautious in terms of adopting the platform or thinking through it. But then since 2016 to now, the slide says 9,500 projects. But I want to tell you, as of this morning, before I got on this call, I checked 9,760 projects in ARC. And close to 400 projects have obtained their energy performance certification, allowing us to jumpstart the much needed progress on our existing buildings. So finally, I feel like we are on the right track for transforming existing buildings. Because just in the United States, we have 7.7 million existing buildings today. And the bad news with that is 50% of those buildings are performing less than Energy Star score 50. And even worse story to tell is that 50% of that 50% is performing less than 25 in Energy Star score. So we have buildings that are absolutely not taking advantage of the obvious strategies that should be deployed right now without consideration of any cost, or maybe without even making any additional investment into the building space. So we need to make sure that those buildings catch up with us while Gidon and IndyPL are pushing beyond Platinum and all the big vision. It is very important that we bring the left-hand side of that 50% to the right. Otherwise, we cannot close the gap. LEED credits, 71% of LEED credits directly either impact occupant health or global community health. But if you go back and look at all your narratives that you've been talking about in the past 20 years, you will see that you're not talking enough about health. Or if you've been talking about health, you're not been talking about it in a way that it connects with people for the past 20 years. That has to change. Because that's how we are going to change engagement. That's how we are going to change the value proposition for LEED. And most importantly, that's how we are going to make sure that we are able to get to our goal post of transforming every building to be a green building within this generation. Now, on a lighter note, my background is technology. So for some bizarre reason, when I'm in the room, always there is a technology problem. So Just want to make you aware of that situation. Anyway, so the Living Standard campaign is through the power of storytelling, we hope to broaden our engagement and increase the demand for green buildings. And as we all know, that demand changes everything. So please visit livingstandard.org and start sharing your stories. And this is why it's very important you share the story. Because I truly believe your story will inspire someone else in the world to get involved and take action. When I was presenting the plaque in Gidon, I was very impressed hearing the story about the vision behind Gidon. I was personally very impressed by basically taking that old FBI building and transforming that into a space that's going to be LEED Platinum and really optimizing every feature around it and really being able to achieve LEED Platinum with B4. And that's considered to be a very lofty goal. And so is IndiePL, really looking at LEED B4 as the goalpost for a library, for a public facility, and really raising the bar and saying that this is what we are going to get it done, and this is how we are going to make things happen. That power of that storytelling cannot be underestimated. People do get inspired. I live in this community. If I'm inspired, you can imagine people who don't have access to this information will be so inspired. And hopefully they'll be inspired, and we want them to take action. So please share your stories on livingstandard.org. Now, in addition to this, thousands of stories are pouring from across the world, and we are carefully curating a good story stream on our livingstandard.org. Feel free to go browse. And if you have a powerful, compelling story, please reach out to us. Our team is always looking for great stories to promote. But in addition to that, we have 3 kits that are available to you. 2 reports that compiles the research report that we have done in the past 24 months. Now, what you will know from this report is you will probably say that I know all of this after reading the report. But at the same time, you'll be surprised that how obvious things are not being implemented in a meaningful way. So it'll motivate you to do a certain kind of an audit, like the way I've done it with my own messaging, to see that whether there is an area of improvement that we have to focus on to really improve our marketing message or our presentation for making the case for green buildings, or for that matter, being able to bring more volunteers into your community. You will learn something from that report. I assure you that. The second component is that you will see that there is in the middle, we have our favorite USGBC Plus magazine. And if you're not visited USGBC Plus magazine in the past few months, please go to plus.usgbc.org. It's pretty simple, or just search on USGBC Plus, you will see it. And what we have done is that we have been curating stories since 2012 in the USGBC Plus platform. The stories of our members and our lead projects. So please review this special edition of USGBC Plus that was dedicated to Living Standard around Greenbelt Atlanta. And we have told our story. I actually started by telling my story, and there are so many people who have told their story. And you will find that useful. And it will probably give you a way to frame your conversation. And most importantly, if you have a great story to tell us, reach out to us for USGBC Plus. We are happy to promote your case as well. So hope to profile Gidon and IndiePL and all other wonderful projects from Indiana very soon. Now, all of these efforts, from ARC to LEED Zero to Living Standard, are part of our vision to ensure that the next phase of USGBC's efforts will be LEED positive, where buildings are actually generating more energy than they use and removing more carbon than they produce. And the way to get there may not always be direct. It'll require incremental steps. Maybe you have to get a project started in ARC, or you should get LEED certified, like you've already done it. Or you should take a LEED certification that you've already achieved, put it on the scale, and get to LEED Zero building, and maybe beyond. And that beyond is the aspirational goal that I've set for USGBC, is that we will require all LEED new construction projects to achieve LEED positive starting in 2025, and all existing buildings to be LEED positive by 2050. Now, let me repeat. The aspirational goal that I've set for USGBC is that we will require all LEED new construction projects to achieve LEED positive starting 2025, which means we are giving 5 years for our new construction projects to get familiar with LEED version 4.1, get their project teams aligned, motivate them to think beyond zero, and really think towards a future that is positive over a next 5-year period. But then come 2025, we want them to absolutely execute on that vision of lead positive by ensuring that that building can meet that goal that we have set. Then for existing buildings, we are going to go a little easy. We are going to give them till 2050 to become lead positive. That means we are giving them 30 years to really transform their asset, because we know the challenges existing building space. So this is the goal we have set, and we are very excited about this vision, because this is why lead buildings must not just do less harm than traditional construction. This is why it doesn't work. Doing less bad does not make it doing great good. It's not the same scale. So we have to think about this differently. Instead, all lead buildings should be carbon positive and truly regenerative. Our foundation exists. We can definitely achieve that. And lead buildings should generate more energy than they consume, save more water than they use, and remove more carbon than they produce, and have a positive impact on the physical, mental, and social health of its occupants. So in short, I'm going to make it very simple. Lead buildings need to give back to communities more than they take from them. This is our calling. We need to reimagine how to grow and scale our projects so that in meeting this new demand, we create better, more inclusive spaces. And that will be achieved by all of us together, because true leadership is not possible without partnership. So that's the exciting vision that we are working towards. And as we are working towards that exciting vision, we have also been looking at lead very carefully. For past 25 years, we have looked at lead through one lens: sustainability. And that is a worthy and incredibly important and meaningful goal. But in the second generation, we need to accept that our work goes far beyond sustainability. That's why in our second generation, we are looking beyond buildings, as you saw earlier I presented, but also to the full spectrum of reasons of why we do this work. When we think about lead, think about sustainability, health and wellness, resilience, equity. We think about raising the living standard for all. It's not just about keeping lead as just the leadership standard, but also a living standard. Because we absolutely must raise the living standard for all, no matter what their circumstances entail, even more so in today's climate. And the good news is we're already making that happen. So please join us. Please keep these 4 themes in your mind as you think about your messaging, as you think about your engagement, and most importantly, as you think about your roadmap. Because we must have a roadmap for sustainability, we must have a roadmap for health and wellness, we must have a roadmap for resilience, and we must have a roadmap for equity that is integrated into all of these pieces. So with that, as you all know very well, lead is at the heart of everything we do. But we want you to always have the option to go further, get faster, dive deeper into the areas you care about. Now, this slide is a busy slide. I will have the team share that with you. But my point of sharing this is because we do support a variety of rating systems. We do believe that the topic of sustainability is broad and diverse, and we want to be responsive to the market needs and help every project achieve its sustainability goals. So we are supporting a variety of rating systems in support of these various sustainability goals. And all of these systems have been integrated into Lead for Communities and Lead for Cities. That's the good news. So we are continuing to make this a little bit more simpler ecosystem at a community and a city level, because it's a lot more manageable. But at the building level, we are conscious that we want to make it very specific and only include components that will add benefit to a building. So we've been able to do that in a very systematic manner in the past few years. So we will dive into each of these topics in the future in our upcoming events. And hopefully that'll give you the opportunity to better understand these products and programs. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please reach out to Lana, and she'll be more than happy to facilitate a deeper dive into any of these topics. But we just wanted you to know that it's out there, and wherever you find it to be useful, please help us promote it. And let's not forget that none of this would be possible without education and our credentialed stakeholders. As we travel around the world, we notice one thing that is always in demand: education. A good quality education, a good case study, a good story, a good recognition of that education achievement is constantly in demand. And it is also important that we recognize that through credentialing only, we will know that we have transformed the knowledge space within the minds of our own team members. So credentials provides a meaningful recognition for a participant in this field to be a leader. And I know that many of you in the room today have at least one of these credentials after your title. And I thank you for helping uplift and guide others in the green space. You, the 205,000 lead professionals in the world, are how we move lead forward. You are our first line of defense in this mission, and you are how we create capacity in the market. So please continue to help us broaden this community, as that will only help us to accelerate the mission. That's also part of our second generation mission. We want this 205,000 to be probably 1 million plus, because then we'll have that many number of advocates who are talking about sustainability on all these topics that we discussed this morning and helping the market go to the next level. So since we are talking about leaders, since we are talking about credentials, and most importantly, I would like to recognize one of our local leaders, Dan Overbay of Browning Day, and a well AP and a lead fellow. The lead fellow is a very special and a very prestigious distinction awarded by GBCI, and that recognizes outstanding lead APs who have demonstrated exceptional impact with lead. Now, Dan grew up in West Central India in coal country. In architecture school, he read Bill McDonough's book, Cradle to Cradle. Many of us have been inspired by that book. A thesis on the emerging sustainability imperatives for our generation and an early construct for the circular economy. Bill so eloquently defined that in his book, Cradle to Cradle. And it prompted him to start thinking, Dan, it prompted start thinking about thinking globally and acting locally when it came to sustainability. So an early adopter of lead, Dan earned his AP credential in August 2006. And while at Browning Day, was able to leverage his technical skill set toward realizing what would eventually become the first certified zero net energy project in Indiana. So you already have the zero there. Just want to add lead to it. Dan, help us there. It was the beginning of a number of firsts. Dan eventually became the first well AP, the first design professional to become a Fitwel ambassador, and the first person to become a lead fellow in Indiana. Over the next decade, Dan would help lead over 1 million square feet of LEED certified space, serve as the chair of USGBC Indiana twice, and contribute through a variety of service opportunities in the Hoosier state. Recognizing that a general paradigm shift will also require investment in policy and education, Dan invested himself into advocacy and teaching, contributing to the city and state on a variety of policy initiatives, often representing and serving on behalf of USGBC Indiana and AIA Indiana, one of our other favorite partners. He also currently serves on the faculty at Ball State University, where he teaches environmental systems, building science, and professional practice. Dan cannot be with us today because he's currently helping lead a student-driven LEED certification effort for a newly constructed facility underway on Ball State's campus. Unsurprising. Now, please send our good wishes to Dan and let him know that we proudly told this story in this town hall. So in Dan's words, he believes that all sustainability is local, and he's doing everything he can to contribute a local professional community to accomplish something greater than any of us alone. So on behalf of USGBC, we thank Dan for his years of partnership and service. That is phenomenal leadership. So thank you, Dan. So as we begin to wrap up for today, I want to return back to the 4 pillars we discussed earlier: sustainability, health and wellness, resilience, and equity. In our second generation, these pillars will be at the heart of all of our programs. And while in the midst of the COVID crisis, I want to leave you thinking about one pillar in particular: equity. Last 2 weeks, or probably I should say 3 weeks now, 16 to 17 million people, 20% unemployment. People obviously are outside, genuinely concerned about 2 things: their economic status and their health status. And now they have to make a choice. Which one is important? And I feel we are very lucky as a community, all of us, who have been able to participate in calls like this and be able to continue with our life and be able to even stay home, hopefully not worrying about these 2 issues. So when we look at that, it breaks my heart that even after 25 years of USGBC, we have not done enough to be able to contribute in these moments. And I'm reminded that close to 50% of the world's population still lives below the poverty line. And when we define poverty line, let me set you a context. Some people live less than $1 a day, less than $1 a day. And probably most of us will just spend that over a dinner or over a meal. For a month's income is so challenging below the poverty line. So it's no secret that the most vulnerable among us will be hit the hardest during extreme events. Let's look around. We are already experiencing it. So we feel a sense of duty to ensure a sustainable, resilient, and equitable future for all. Now, when you come to the work that we have done, Kimberly Lewis, our fearless leader, who's also on the call, has done a variety of programs in partnership with the community during Greenville. We have an advanced program. We have a Center for Green Schools, scholarship program for the schools to be able to attend Greenville. So we do a variety of programs within USGBC. We established Project Haiti. We have done a lot of good work, but those are all, we would call it as incremental changes. I should say, Kimberly calls them as incremental changes. We have not done something disruptive. We have not something that is bold. We are not something that is evolving and perpetuating it. And we are criticizing ourselves here, to be very clear. Why? Because we feel that urgency to do better, to do something stronger for the community. Now, of course, in LEAD, we have some social equity commitments. And, to be very honest, very, very honest, the adoption has been underwhelming. So we started the diagnostic last year, looking at this, and as we're thinking through this Living Standard campaign on all the things that we have done in the past decade, what can USGBC do differently or help other partners scale their best-in-class ideas to the next level? Because that's what we do. As an organization, we are good at listening, convening, and being able to articulate a vision, and then be able to actually create a system for transformation, and then help the community lead with it with the help of communities like you. So the first recognition that came to us was everybody takes different action towards social equity. If you're an individual, you have a certain set of actions you can take. If you're an organization, you can do a certain set of actions. If you're a building, you can take a certain set of actions. If you're a community and a city, of course, you're going to take a different set of actions. So it is very important that within our community, we understand what our community is doing and look at the best-in-class practices, and then identify streams that can actually scale those ideas to become a mainstream concept, and then reward people to be able to do those actions. That's our framework. That's our vision. So with that, I just want to let you know that last year at Greenville, in partnership with our senior leaders, Kimberly and Melissa Baker, and our extended social equity working group volunteer community, we have announced a vision for establishing a USGBC equity to build a framework that recognizes leadership at all of these levels that I talked about. And we are hoping to really kickstart that conversation at the end of May. So we're going to be organizing a listening and equity event on May 28th and May 29th. Please save the date. A notification will be coming your way shortly. But in the meantime, if you're interested, both in attending and presenting, keep your information ready, because we are going to come up with some announcements shortly so that for you to engage. And really, really, let's participate. Let's give our time and effort, and most importantly, our passion and commitment to take this concept mainstream, because a sustainable world is wonderful, but it'll be meaningless if it is not an equitable world. So thank you for showing up today. Showing up matters, because you're not here as a representative for yourself or your family or your organization, but you are here to represent the people who are not represented in the room, but our work still touches all of them. So as I always say, what gets measured gets done, what gets done gets improved, and what gets improved gets replicated. So let's replicate all the good work by measuring what works and really by improving it. And most importantly, I want to thank you all for your commitment, your passion, and most importantly, your time to support USGBC's mission. And I look forward to continuing this dialogue as we go through this rest of the year. Thank you.